Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of Am I the A-hole or Aita. Aita for giving my mom a fake number when she asked for my job's contact info. I'll give some backstory first. My 18 female, mother 50 female, is extremely clingy. I have no idea why, but she's always done this. I've always been the most independent out of all my siblings, and therefore she is trying to be in my business. I understand that she is my mother, and I love that she cares about me, but there are times when I must draw the line. At my last job, she would demand I text her whenever I get to work and whenever I leave, which was extremely doable. However, sometimes I'd arrive a bit later than I wanted and would have to immediately begin to work. I wouldn't be able to text her and she would flip out every time, calling my phone 20 to 30 times and calling my siblings and father asking where I was. She began to call my work phone, which was extremely embarrassing for me because sometimes my boss would answer. Once when I was driving to work, my phone wasn't plugged into my Bluetooth, and so I couldn't text or answer calls. She then called my boss's personal phone number, which I still have no clue how she got, and asked him about me. I was furious and told her if she'd just been patient for 5 minutes, I would have answered, and she didn't get it. I'm always a perfect child and do everything she says and never get into any trouble, so I don't know what the obsession is about. The worst thing she did was call my boss's personal phone during the pandemic and tell him I couldn't come in because it was dangerous. I had to find out about this by getting my weekly schedule and thinking I was fired because I had no shifts. I had to learn from my boss, who was super nice about it, why I was off the schedule because my mom hadn't told me. It was the most embarrassing moment I've ever felt, and she didn't understand why I was mad at her for it. With my new job, I've tried to set boundaries. I told her my job has her emergency contact and that I would text her when I arrived and left. She asked for my boss's name and the store address, which is fine, and then asked for his personal. I gave her a fake number. I told my sister about this, and she told me I was being petty and wrong, but I don't think she understands what it's like to have none of your privacy respected. My mother even begged that she drive me to work on my first day while she waited in the car as if I'm a child. Her behavior is making me hate being around her as well as refrain from telling her anything about my personal life. So, am I the a-hole for giving my mom a fake number so she doesn't embarrass me at work? I don't think so at all. I don't know if your mom went through something and there's a specific reason why she thinks that something bad might happen to you, or if she just needs to learn how to let go. I don't know, but this is just too far, and it's really great that your last boss was as understanding as they were, but a lot of people might think about letting you go for that kind of behavior, and obviously, you understand that, but for some reason she's not getting that through her head. I don't think it's petty to give her a wrong number, because apparently she was able to somehow get the personal number of your last boss without you knowing how, so that's a little weird. This actually reminds me a lot of another episode I've done on here of r/we won't call you, where the gentleman had his mother sitting in on his Zoom interview, probably against his will, and just the idea of people just hovering and not being able to let someone be an adult or do what they're supposed to do, and effectively stunting them from being able to grow is really sad and frustrating and kind of cringy. But yeah, no, I really don't think you're the a-hole here. Aita for not honoring the girl code. I was friends with a girl named Jenny in middle school and high school. Our friendship was tumultuous. She tended to say mean things and could be very judgmental. She called me Skinny B a lot, despite me asking her not to. She also talked about me behind my back a lot. I stayed friends with her because I had a low self-esteem and didn't want to be completely friendless. It's pathetic, I know. After we graduated, I got my own apartment and job, then started college. We were about 18 or 19. She met a guy named David online, and they decided to meet for an outing they chose not to call a date. It wasn't going super well, so Jenny had David come with her to my apartment to watch movies. She liked him, but he just wanted to be friends and told her as much. I played wingman regardless, trying to help her out. Days later, David starts texting me. Jenny admits she gave him my number because he asked for it, and she thought we had a lot in common. I'm furious at first, but decide to let it go. At first, I don't like David, but as we talk, we have a spark. He asked me out, and I said no. I knew Jenny still liked him. He reminded me they were just friends. He kept asking, and I said I wanted to clear things with Jenny first. So I called her, asking for her blessing before I'll say yes. Jenny went nuts. She said I was a horrible friend, an SLUT, a B, and couldn't believe I would stab her in the back like this. I tried to apologize and explain that I never meant for it to happen, but she wouldn't hear it. She said I was not allowed to date David ever because she liked him. She and her sister started posting awful stuff about me online, including pictures of me talking about how ugly and slutty I was. Then they started calling me at all hours, leaving mean messages. I tried to appeal to our other friends, but they agreed with her for breaking the girl code. Since my friends already hated me now, I went out with David anyway, and we're still together over a decade later. I have not spoken to Jenny or our friends in years now. This has bothered me for a long time. I've always tried to be a good friend and not pull any shady stuff. So now I ask you, am I the a-hole? Yeah, no. Jenny is an a-hole, and she was an a-hole from the beginning. And why? Okay, if she was never okay with you, like, talking to David or whatever, why did she give him your phone number without your permission in the first place? Like, and that she thought you guys had stuff in common and stuff. Like, did she think that that meant you guys would only be friends? Like, I don't think so. I think that she just wanted an excuse to justify her nasty actions, and clearly none of those people who actually heard the whole story were very good friends, in my personal opinion. So I'm happy for you and David, and I don't think you were ever the a-hole in this situation, and I'm glad that Jenny and her friends are no longer in your life. Aita for not letting my child speak her native language at home. Title isn't as bad as it sounds. My 35 male wife, 32 female, is Welsh and I'm English. But if you get right down to it, we're both British anyway. She's always been kind of funny about identifying as Welsh and not British, no matter how many times I tell her they're not mutually exclusive, lol. I'm really tired of having to put up with her extreme nationalism. First of all, she insisted that our daughter have a Welsh name, so now my family can't even pronounce it or spell it. I have to put up with jokes about my daughter's name all the time and her name getting spelled wrong all the time. The only primary school in the area is a Welsh school, so my daughter has started learning all her schoolwork through Welsh. And this is fine, I guess. It's pointless, but other than not being able to help her with her homework, which her mom does anyway, it's not an issue. The issue is that my daughter has started speaking Welsh with her mother's family, her mother, and her friends outside of school. I asked her to stop, but my wife said I was being really rude to ask her to stop speaking in her native language. But she can speak English too? It's not her native language when her father doesn't speak it. My wife said I'm an a-hole because I agreed to raise our child bilingually, but I was under the impression that our daughter would still choose to speak English because it's all around us. She speaks English and Welsh at home, sometimes mixing them both. It's confusing and can't be good for her education to be learning it in a pointless language. What happens when she goes to university in English? My wife says I should get lessons for Welsh, and she would be happy to pay and help, but I really don't see the point in learning a dead language when we can all just speak English. Aita for wanting my child to speak English? Edit. Okay, but now my wife is making me sleep on the couch while she thinks about our relationship. Am I still the a-hole when she's willing to disrupt our child's life because I want my child to speak a language everyone speaks? Edit. I'm okay with her learning Welsh, just not speaking it at home all the time. It's stupid having a three-way conversation when people aren't speaking the same language, but my daughter insists on using Welsh. Edit. I'm not gonna answer questions that ask me why I married my wife. I married her because I love her End of. Edit, going to bed. Some comments have given me some insight, and I can't ignore all the YTA posts. I thought maybe it was just the Welsh being at it again, but, well, there's more of you calling me an a-hole than there are Welsh speakers. I'll have a think and a chat with my wife tomorrow. Edit, I'm having a lot of trouble sleeping, I'll be honest. Might have something to do with me being 100% an a-hole to my wife and daughter. A lot of mixed feelings. How do I explain that I still feel like I'm right, but I know now that I'm wrong? We live in the countryside, and it's been hard with lockdown. I couldn't work, and I was surrounded by all the Welsh in my home without any English outlet of my own. I was wrong and very bitter, and used those bitter feelings against my own family. I'm going to tell my wife that I'll get Welsh lessons, and I plan on couples counseling for us so that I can properly work through my crap. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who helped me grow up and see that my daughter was more important than my childish, selfish reasons. I was so effed up, unwilling to learn because I was already behind. And I'd like to thank those who share their stories of learning Welsh. My daughter's name is Magan, for the people asking. Edit. My wife insists that we pronounce Magan the Welsh way. It sounds beautiful, but she gets annoyed that my family pronounces it like Southerners. Just a personal note here, I think I'm saying that correctly, but I have no idea, so we're just gonna go with it. Sorry. So I posted about 2 weeks ago looking for your judgment. It took a while, but I agree with it. Some develops have happened since then, so I thought I would update. Number 1, I admitted to my wife I was being an a-hole and was ready to learn Welsh. I've been using Duolingo and sitting down with my daughter and wife while we do my daughter's homework. My wife still laughs whenever I say Lianelli? Sorry, I don't know how to say it either. But here we are. I showed my wife the aita post. She said I was a complete dipstick, but she cried and admitted she's been excluding me on purpose in the hopes that I would learn Welsh if she did it enough. I explained how it made me more resentful and I had almost left her because of it. We're going to go to couples therapy. 3, she told me that I need to tell Yanks who pretended they could say Lamfair PG? I have no idea. 2, oh god. I feel like there's a lot of words here. You guys are just gonna have to read those, sorry. They were some of the first words I learned in Welsh, so they can be yours too. I sent my dad a message telling him to ask my mother if she can start pronouncing Magan the way my wife wants it. Magan likes it the Welsh way too, and faux vomited when I asked her if she liked the way Nana said it. My mother hasn't said anything, but my wife and I taught Magan to tell her, Nana, I like my name said like this, when my mom says it wrong. We'll have to see where this goes, since my mom said in the past that she won't pronounce it like a sheep pleb. I will be putting my foot down if she starts. There was someone who pretended to be my wife on another post. I reported it and got it taken down. I did not make my wife sleep on the couch that night, lol. Just some sad person creating made-up drama. And number 6, my daughter and I managed to get a 5-star island on Animal Crossing. Not relevant, but we managed it this week. Have a nice day, and cheers for your help. I feel like this is the absolute best outcome and purpose of r/AmITheA or aita, because this person came in, they told their story from their perspective, they were frustrated, and yes, they kind of defended themselves a little bit with more information and kind of how they felt about things, but when confronted with the overwhelming amount of people saying, I looked at your situation from what you said, and you're being the a-hole here, changed his mind, worked through feelings, understood that he had feelings he didn't really realize he had, and then was able to talk with his wife, find out that she was indeed acting a certain way on purpose because they both had feelings about stuff that they didn't talk about before. And literally this random thread on the internet just changed the dynamic of a couple and a family. So I think that's really cool, personally. Really good on you for considering what other people had to say and having that open conversation with your wife. And I hope I didn't say Magan's name wrong the whole time. Here I would read that Megan, so I don't know how that's said specifically. There was a thing and I got confused, so that was my best effort, but I hope the best for you guys. Aita for telling my stepdaughter to go ask her real dad when she asked me to pay for her plane tickets. I married my wife Elise 12 years ago. She has a 16-year-old daughter, Anna, from her previous relationship, and we have a 7-year-old son as well. From pretty much the beginning of our relationship, Anna and I have never gotten along. I don't know how to emphasize that it is not because of a lack of trying. She just does not like me. When she was young, she was just scared of me and afraid I'd tear their family apart. Nowadays, it's more of a neutral dislike rather than a strong antipathy, so I suppose that's progress. Elise is a stay-at-home mother, so she relies on me for income. As a result, I pay for everything for Anna: food, clothes, volleyball fees, field trips. I take an interest in her hobbies. I go to her games. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try my dang hardest to be the stepfather that I can. But it's so hard. Always giving me curt one-word responses, always having to have an attitude. She does things to get a rise out of me, staying out late, reeking of booze, always trying to sneak boys in, typical rebellious stuff. But I always let her know I love her, and I'm there for her in hopes of her craphead teenager phase past. The opposite is true for her biological father. She adores him. Can't tell you why. He never goes to her games, always makes excuses for why he doesn't want to see her. He forgot her birthday last month, and she cried herself to sleep. Well, anyways, Friday, I came to her room to check her phone and read her messages. Not a permanent thing, but she's been caught sneaking out twice in the last month, so this is her punishment. I asked for the phone, and she says, "No, I'm tired of you checking my crap. Leave me alone." I tell her I'm not asking again, and she goes, "Just F off already. You're not my real dad. You never have been. Stop acting like you can tell me what to do." Before getting up and slamming the door. Like I said, guys, I'm tired. Tired of the blatant disrespect, of being the verbal punching bag while still providing more for her than anyone else in her family. We haven't really talked since until this morning during breakfast. She asked if I could pay for her plane tickets so she could see her boyfriend cross state. Like I said, her mom doesn't work and her dad is a POS, so I normally would be the one to cough up the money. Not this time. I responded, "Go ask your real dad." I could tell she was hurt. Tears swelled up from her face, and she excused herself from the table. My wife took me aside later and said my comment was extremely disrespectful. I said if anything's disrespectful, it's her treating me like a doormat and a credit card, and I will no longer tolerate this treatment in my house. I told her we don't have to be friends, but if she can't at least be cordial to me or respect my position as an authority figure, she can find someone else to pay for her non-essentials. Aita? And to add more context, my wife is a saint. She does stick up for me when Anna says something rude or snarky. She just said stooping to her level was inappropriate, but she's a wonderful mom and tries her best. Oh, families with like step-parents and stepchildren is really difficult, but at this point, I think that Anna here has really taken it way too far. And you can't just be like, you can't, act like my real dad and completely shut someone out, and then the only time you talk to them next is to be like, "Hey, can you give me plane tickets to go see my boyfriend?" Like, I'm sorry, but no, like, I know everyone is raised differently, but in my world, that would have been a no in any case. Like, with my biological father, with, like, all the things, that would have been an immediate no. If I came home late at night reeking of booze, underage, y'all, and trying to sneak guys, no, there would be so much no to the concept of buying plane tickets to go see some boyfriend across state lines or whatever. That would just be so much no in my personal upbringing. So for this person who, yes, I get it, she's going through stuff, I think she should probably go to counseling to deal with this kind of stuff. And if she doesn't want to deal with it, then it's on her. If she doesn't want to talk to the counselor, at this point, it's on her. But that doesn't mean you get to be like treating someone like trash and then feel justified in that and then be like, "Oh, but can you can you buy me plane ticket?" No. So was it childish and was it stooping to her level? Sure, but I don't think it makes you the a-hole. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for your support. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original posts from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!